Xavier Musketeers. Today is February 12th, 2021. I'm Marta Berglund.
And I am Amari Miller. Welcome to this week's broadcast of Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
Welcome back after the much-needed academic holiday. We have a great show for you today. Let's start with an update on the pandemic.
The COVID vaccine is currently being tested against the new coronavirus strains discovered in Brazil, South Africa, and the UK. According to Dr. Fauci, the vaccine remains effective against the UK and Brazilian strains, but is mildly less effective against the South African strain, but still, quote, within the cushion of protection, end quote.
Former President Donald Trump is currently on trial for his second impeachment after allegedly inciting the riots on the Capitol on January 6th. The prosecution meticulously argued their case that Trump directly pushed his followers to violence in an attempt to overturn the election. Trump's defense team plans to use only 4 of the 16 hours they are allotted. The trial will continue today, and a verdict could come as soon as tomorrow.
On January 30th, outside the Bellarmine Chapel, a banner that said "Racism is a sin, Black Lives Matter" was purposefully torn down. Students then discovered stickers from a white supremacist hate group called Patriot Front posted around campus. Xavier's released a statement saying, quote, any message of hate, fear, and division is fundamentally at odds with our shared call to solidarity and love, end quote. Students responded with replacement banners with statements of equality and solidarity.
Xavier organized a march and interfaith prayer in response to the vandalism. Starting at 3 this Saturday in the Norwood Plaza parking lot, Xavier community is asked to join in a solidarity walk. The walk will end at Bellarmine Chapel, where a new Black Lives Matter banner is to be unveiled. For more information, look on Engage XU or reach out to the Center for Faith and Justice, and remember to dress warm. Jacob Smith went out and asked students their thought about the vandalism on campus.
The hate crime was pretty awful. It was really disgusting that people still think like that in the year 2021. Coming from 2 parents that are one's white and one's black, I feel like we've come such a long way, but then we go so far and then we come back 3 steps, and it doesn't really make any sense why people still think like that.
I don't ever agree with anybody silencing anyone's opinion, so as I don't agree with ripping up the sign no matter what I think anyone's opinion is on BLM or the matters at hand.
I think it was a despicable act for real. Definitely not of any good taste, and we've seen it before, so we know what their intentions are behind it.
I think Xavier handled it pretty well. All my teachers offered to talk to anyone that was affected by it one-on-one, and then my hall director also sent out an email, and it was very touching to know that as a community that that they're here for us minorities, and that there's actually a family.
I think that Xavier handled the incident well, and that they were definitely pushing for just for us to remember Jesuit values, and also the response with the signs and the response with the other programs that the CFJ and Bellarmine Chapel have been putting on.
I think they handled it decently well. They've gotten a lot of criticism in the past for how they handle these type of things, and I think the fact that all my teachers and my hall director have said something to me at least once about it and offered, extensive after class resources, I think that helped a lot.
Black Lives Matter to me is not a political statement, but it's actually a human rights statement, and there's definitely policies attached to the organization, but the statement Black Lives Matter is a solidarity statement standing for and with people that are oppressed.
What they stand for was fantastic. People should always be treated equally.
BLM to me just means that all the stuff that just happens to black people every day, that it's not saying that not all lives matter, but we're just saying that when lives black people are going unappreciated and stuff like that in the world, that we want it to be noticed. We're tired of having to constantly fight for the attention of all the stuff that's happening to us, people being killed and people not getting jobs because of what they look like or what their name is.
I think it just means, simply that we matter too.
Thank you, Jacob Smith, for bringing us some student perspective.
Celebrate Black History Month with free virtual experiences this year. The Smithsonian Magazine is working together with dozens of other museums and cultural institutions across the country to bring art exhibitions, concerts, and discussion panels to safely celebrate Black History Month with all who wish to attend. The National African American Museum and Cultural Center near Dayton is offering curator-led video tours of 2 of its current exhibitions. To sign up for these events, you can go to the Smithsonian Magazine website.
The famous Roebling Bridge, which crosses the river from Cincinnati into northern Kentucky, will be closed for 9 months for restoration construction. After closing in April 2019 when sandstone pieces of the northern tower began falling off, the bridge will once again close to all vehicular traffic beginning February 15th. The Roebling Bridge is a popular walking attraction for Cincinnati and northern Kentucky residents alike, as well as tourists. It is set to reopen in November after a $4.7 million restoration.
A discovery on Ray Street in downtown Cincinnati revealed the remnants of an old Victorian storefront. Cincinnati's Center City's development crew was removing bricks from the former Chong Incorporated retail building when they uncovered the 19th century frame that hasn't been seen in 70 years. Yet Vice President of 3CDC Joe Miller says they plan to restore the original exterior of the building. Quote, "We are really excited about the prospects of restoring the building back to some of its original detail," end quote. Because Chong Incorporated closed down last March due to the pandemic, 3CDC purchased the old building as part of their Over the Rhine project. The restoration of the Victorian storefront will continue as the crew uncovers more.
Xavier University is moving forward and providing as much support as possible to give students a great semester despite the pandemic. The university added 3 one-day academic holidays to the schedule to allow students to get caught up, and the Xavier University COVID Task Force meets daily to assess pandemic protocol. The semester surveillance testing has been added for students who reside on campus. It is an added strategy to help mitigate COVID-19 on campus.
Despite the focus on staying safe from COVID, students do have fun activities planned this semester. To learn more about these fun activities, here's Trevor Ray with the scoop.
My name is Carol Horning, and I am the president of the Xavier University Student Occupational Therapy Association, or XU Soda. So XU Soda is the club that's putting this event on, and we work with the OT students or future OT students to help them network, bring in guest speakers, just really get to know what the profession is about and provide different opportunities to meet their peers and meet other OTs in the field. So the event today is making cards, Valentine's Day cards for a local nursing home, St. Margaret Hall. It's right down the street near UC. The XU Soda events are open to anyone interested in occupational therapy. So right now this Valentine's Day card event is just a volunteer event. We put it on Engage XU, and it's available to anyone who sees it on Engage. So coming up this month, XU Soda is bringing in a guest speaker in a couple weeks to talk about a lived experience with spinal muscular atrophy. And we also are going to be doing a food drive in March, and we have a couple of food fundraisers coming up in March as well to raise money for the club, because XU Soda helps pay for the conference fee for members to attend the annual Occupational Therapy Association conference.
Looks like a lot of fun. Thank you, Trevor.
Tuition prices will stay the same for 2021 and 2022 academic school year. According to Xavier, tuition will remain the same to stay competitive during COVID-19 pandemic. While tuition will remain the same, room and board will increase to $13,580 per year. Phil Chick, Vice President of the Xavier Financial Administration, explains that since there is no increase this year, it is likely to increase next year.
Xavier might have won the crosstown shootout against the University of Cincinnati this year, but now there's a new contest, the crosstown tip-off. It started on January 9th when an anonymous customer at Zips Cafe in Mount Lookout left a $1,000 tip with a note that read, quote, "Go Xavier," end quote. In response, an anonymous UC fan decided to up the game and leave a $1,001 tip at Keystones. Since then, a handful of Xavier and UC fans have been in a tug-of-war battle over who can leave the highest tip. The amount of money spent altogether in tips for this contest has now gone over $5,000, with Xavier currently holding the lead after a fan tipped Over the Rhine's Sacred Beast last week $1,007. Any Musketeer with some spending cash are encouraged to help us keep the crown. Katie Ryan, a producer on The Today Show and a graduate of our program, highlighted this in the morning show this week. The segment can be viewed on Xavier University's Instagram page.
January 19th was the launch of spring semester 2021 here at Xavier University. Students arrived eager to continue learning while using coronavirus precautions. Just recently, Ohio has moved out the purple zone for COVID cases and dropped down to the red zone. Governor DeWine has removed the statewide curfew.
That's all for the news desk, people.
We will be right back with the Xavier Sports Report.
Hello Muskies, and welcome to the first sports segment of the semester. My name is Courtney Sprouse, so let's jump right in. Xavier men's basketball is playing the waiting game. With 7 active postponements and only 7 games remaining on the conference schedule, with only a month until the Big East tournament, Coach Steele is considering adding more games, even if they are non-conference. He said, quote, "We definitely won't be able to make them all up. We're open to playing other games, even if that's non-conference at this point. If we can fit it in, we'll do it," end quote. Xavier is set to play UConn tomorrow afternoon at the Cintas Center. In golf news, the PGA of America will now allow distance measuring devices at its major championships, beginning in May at the PGA Championship. PGA of America President Jim Richardson said, quote, "We're always interested in methods that may help improve the flow of play during our championships," end quote. This new rule allows players and caddies to use rangefinders to determine distance to the pin, but it will not allow devices that measure elevation changes. On Sunday night, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs with a final score of 31-9. Tampa Bay's defense was on fire, sacking Mahomes 3 times, having 2 interceptions, and keeping the Chiefs out of the end zone. This is the Bucs' second Lombardi Trophy. And that's all for sports today. Have a great and safe weekend, and as always, let's go X.